You are now listening to the Cross-Platform Chat podcast.
Hello and welcome. This is episode 1 of Cross-Platform Chat, a podcast about video games and nerdy things. My name is Matt, joined by two of my good gaming buddies on the mic. We are three friends with three distinct perspectives on games, but we are cross-platform and backwards compatible, so our door is always open to gamers of all flavors. We welcome you to the house of Cross-Plat Chat. Our casa is su casa. So pull up a chair, why don't you? Hang out with the cool kids, stay a while. Let's chop this thing up. Let me welcome my dudes, my bros, my co-hosts. Make some noise on your microphone, if you would.
Good evening, everybody.
Hello.
So let me introduce them individually, because I actually realized, I don't know if you guys listened to our last episode, I realized, number one, I didn't introduce myself to the podcast, that the brand new podcast is like, who is this guy? So I'm joined by Devin, otherwise known as Sonic Boom in the room. Devin, let your voice be known.
Hello. Hi. Good evening. Good afternoon. Good morning.
Good evening, good morning, good night. Salutations. Yeah. And my other dude, Greg, I sometimes refer him to as the human platinum. Greg, make some noise.
I'm here, and maybe you can hear me this week.
That's right. Actually,
Greg
let's make
an
that
investment.
Seriously, you got a microphone.
Yes.
And I was kind of like thinking that we should, I don't know, maybe we should put Greg on the spot and make him do like a freestyle rap with his new microphone.
All right, yeah, spit some bars.
I wouldn't do that
not.
to anyone.
I'm going to be 100% honest with you guys. I'm not going to do this, but I wrote this rap. Oh, I'm not even kidding. I wrote a rap all week, and I was going to play a joke that I was going to freestyle all about Greg's new microphone.
Well, now you got to.
Now I feel like I almost have to do it. I'm not going to do it, though.
Oh,
I'll give you 2 lines of it, though, okay? I'll give you 2 lines of this ridiculous rap. It was going to be, I was going to introduce Sonic Boom. It was going to go like this. Sonic Boom in the room sweeping dubs like a broom. Dubs as in like wins. And then
don't explain it. Just go. Just go. Don't explain it. Just go, baby. Flow.
I feel ridiculous already.
One line in, he's out.
Yeah. So if you're still listening to the podcast, I wanted to start the podcast by asking, what are folks playing right now? Sonic Boom, you want to do the honors? What are you playing? Talk to us.
So as I said in the pre-show, I was going to surprise you. I actually played 2 Nintendo games this week. As someone who doesn't play a lot of Nintendo.
That's a record for you.
Yeah. It's more Paper Mario, and I'm trudging through that, unfortunately. And
Still?
I just beat the giant hole puncher, and just logged through that.
I really want to play that game.
Yeah,
It's got its ups and downs. You know, it's got its Nintendo charm. But I'm just not feeling the story, so that's unfortunate. The other thing I'm playing is the Captain Toad Treasure Tracker.
Nice.
Got that for my birthday. I've been wanting that game forever, and I got it, and it's wonderful. If you like the Captain Toad games from the new Super Mario 3DS game on the Wii U, I think that's where it came from. You'll love this because it's just these tight little puzzle levels, and you get some stars, you get some gems, and you have a good time.
Sometimes I just yearn for a tight little simple game like that, where it's just these quick fixes, and I can pick it up and put it down without.
Yeah, I mean, each level takes a couple minutes. You're in or you're out. There's some replay to it because there's lots to collect. There's lots to find.
Wasn't that game on the Wii U? Am I remembering that wrong?
No, it was.
Yeah, and it was ported to the Switch.
It was ported to the Switch, yeah.
Yep.
Switcheroo.
Yeah, so me and the kiddo were playing through that. We gave him a Nintendo, a.k.a. one of the little small minis, and he's been playing through Mario 3 and Kirby. So that's been fun watching him play Kirby. So yeah, lots of Nintendo this week.
Yeah,
Sonic
my son
Boom.
got real into Kirby when he was younger, and it's a good entry-level platformer for sure.
It's a great game in the sense that no matter your skill, you can just kind of get through it. You can just fly over everything and just get the door and be done.
Yeah.
Or you can, suck things up and eat them and, blow and become Kirby.
Skirby is one of those things, like many Nintendo characters. When it's on paper, you're like, how would this ever work as a game? But
yeah.
this pink floating ball eating everybody and transforming. How about you, Greg? What have you been playing?
Still rocking Assassin's Creed Syndicate. About done with that again. Good stuff.
Get that
Love that game.
100,000 million achievement points.
How many hours in are you on that beast?
I wouldn't say many. I'm going slow. Probably like 25, 30.
25, 30.
Yeah.
That's modest for Assassin's Creed game.
Yeah, it's not a lot, especially compared to the new ones. It is not a long one. So, yeah, it's getting near the end of that. Waiting for Valhalla. Super excited.
Yeah, Valhalla.
I wrapped up Gears of War 4, and that was awesome. Really like that game.
You been playing it on the OLED?
Yeah, on my PC on the OLED.
Nice. It's the HDR.
Yeah. It looked fantastic.
Yeah, when I got my last TV back when the S came out, it's the first game I waited to play on. I played it on the Samsung. Was it KS8000? Oh, I love that TV. I miss it.
Oh, yeah.
It looked beautiful. Yeah. Oh, it was such a good TV.
Why'd you replace it?
I got old and I had to trade it into Best Buy to get a new one. So
I just realized we all three have OLEDs. OLED life.
Yeah.
Can't go back ever.
No.
Damn straight.
So
that's cool.
And then I also played this game called Flutter Bombs.
Tell me all about Flutter Bombs.
Is Flutter Bombs your weird minute game by Greg?
Yeah.
Flutter Bombs.
I have this problem where I'm just scrolling through like sales on Xbox or something, and I just see this game. I'm like, what is this? And so Flutter Bombs is a twin stick shooter where you're a butterfly and you're just shooting all sorts of lasers at other bugs and stuff.
Like butterflies do.
Yeah, and it is so weird.
I'm going to just throw this out there. Is this made by a Japanese developer by chance?
I don't think so. I looked them up. It is made by Earthborn Interactive. They make games, and they're also an architectural firm, which is
quite the pro.
Yeah,
wonderful.
I'm bored designing a building. I'm going to make a butterfly game.
Portfolio.
I don't know what's going on in their gardens, but
butterflies.
It is all like super realistic. Like everything looks real. Like there's nothing weird. I mean, I haven't played a ton. It could get crazy by the end, but everything seems normal except for the fact that you're just like shooting out these lasers at everything. They're just blowing up. It has like nice, calm, classical music. So
really,
yeah, I copied down the description from the Xbox Marketplace for this game, and I have to read some of it because it's just too good. It's too good. It says, experience nature's wrath in this top-down twin-stick shooter. Command up to 10 different wing sets, each with a unique bombing tactic. Unleash fury with powerful weapon upgrades. Flutter Bombs offer unique gameplay that twists the standard rules of a twin stick, with player choosing whether it's advantageous to collect nectar or not based on the environmental conditions of the field of play. Players can dominate the game, quote, by collecting only the nectar they need, end quote. I don't know what that means. It goes on for a while, but it's a bizarre game.
You had me at twin stick shooter, but when I'm hearing
like it doesn't play bad or anything. It's fine. It's just it's a crazy idea. I'm
totally normal here for it. It hits the crack pipe pretty hard.
Yeah.
Shooting lasers.
Well, I do have to read one more line from it.
Yeah,
towards the end, it says, "The beautiful classical score offers a counterintuitive yet soothing sound of harmony as the natural chaos ensues."
Oh my! Well, that's in my cart now for $4.99.
Yeah. I was gonna say it's on sale now on Xbox. So
I think
Check her out.
I think we just named the episode Flutter Bombs.
Flutter
But I
bombs.
don't know if that's
Do
going to be a
it.
trademark problem.
Oh,
Flutter
maybe.
Bombs.
Hey,
Well, I
don't-
should have had you go last because I can't top Flutter Bombs. So
Don't like the publicity.
I'll just stop there. I've been playing 3D All Stars, Mario 3D All Stars on my Switch, on my Switcheroo.
Nice.
I gotta say, Mario 64 is arguably my favorite game ever, and
Mhm.
I think this was the first time that I played it and was like, it's starting to feel a little aged, and I don't know if it's just so many games on the 64 for me is about that controller. As wonky and weird as it is, those games just are like synonymous with that, like tangibly that controller. And for some reason, that game it kind of is like really evocative of that. But I still love
I
it.
had the exact same thing as you. Like, I started playing it, and I was like, "This is all right." Something feels off, though. I don't know.
And I don't know if maybe it's the stick layout, because obviously modern games were so adept to having dual sticks, and with the Switch, you really want to move the camera with Mario.
Yeah.
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 That's really what it is.
Yeah.
I wish that they made that, even if they touched nothing else, I wish they made that little change. I'm still glad that it's on the Switch. The Switch is a better place for having it, but
Oh yeah,
it's cool. I've mostly been playing Galaxy, because like Galaxy, there's so many Wii games that I really didn't. I played them, but I was like heartbroken by the Wii generally, which can be a whole nother podcast in and of itself. But because of that, I kind of fell off even my beloved franchises when I played them on the Wii. So I never finished Galaxy, but I will say that it's it holds up pretty well. Holds up pretty well.
Yeah, I've
and
been playing that a little bit as well.
And I can like see a lot of Odyssey's DNA in Galaxy. So it's weird to say, but I feel like I like it more in a post-Odyssey world somehow. But I think maybe that's just my love of Odyssey speaking to me through Galaxy. Okay, well, that's what we're playing. I figured we would slide into the newsy news for the week. Got a couple.
Let's do it. It's hot.
Couple hot things for you. I guess first item on our menu, just at least wanted to mention Tokyo Game Show. TGS took place digitally, of course, September 23rd to 27th. Of course, people know TGS is an annual event held in Japan. Pretty modest show, as you might expect, with all kinds of COVID up in this global piece. But here's some highlights for the show. Square Enix announced Nier Replicant. It's an upgraded version to their 2010 release. It's going to be on current gen. I was a little surprised to see it's not, at least as of now, not making the next gen jump.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
Did you guys ever play? Well, I know Greg, you did. Played Nier Automata, however you want to say that.
Yes. Yeah, that game is fantastic.
That's on my back list of shame as well, but that game is really good. It's
I never played that Replicant.
No, I never did either.
It's weird. There's like two different versions, like one in Japan, the one that came out here, that are kind of different. But I think this is the more Japanese one that's coming.
I didn't read the full name, because the full name, get prepared for this, is Nier Replicant version 1.22474487139. I did not make that up. I just wrote that.
Yep.
Sonic Boom, talk to us.
What?
Talk to us about your love of Nier Replicant.
Well, I know, speaking of Tokyo Game Show, that Xbox bought Sega, so that's cool.
Oh, yeah.
Blue
controller lied.
Little line controller.
No.
I would have believed it if they had like red thumbsticks.
It's true.
But they didn't, so it's all a lie.
Okay. I tried Nier Automata, Automobilista, and it just wasn't my bag. I gave it a couple hours, and I bounced off it hard. I gave it a couple shots. I can appreciate what it was doing with its multiple playthroughs and tries and endings and whatnot, but it's just not for me.
Not your jam.
No,
that's cool.
I'm picky.
Yeah,
Next
you're either
item.
all in on that game or you're not.
Yeah,
I could see that. I could see
I
that.
feel like it's a hard pendulum swing on that one, where it's either you're into it and you love it and you want more of it, or you're just not about looking up upskirts and all that.
Wanting to do it. Next item, Capcom. I'm not going to read everything Capcom said and did. I'm just going to read what I found interesting, which was they had a short developer briefing for Resident Evil 8 on the final day of TGS. Nothing new in the way of trailers, sadly, so I'm glad I didn't wake up early to watch nothing happen. But they did say while Resident Evil Village is being developed specifically for next-gen consoles and PC, they are thinking about delivering it on the Xbox One and the PS4 as well. Doesn't shock me at all. They're using RE Engine, which of course they used for previous iterations of Resident Evil, notably Resident Evil 7 and the remake of 2 and 3. And we all already know those run beautifully on current gen. So
they do. Like 2 was great, a little short. 3 even shorter, but they ran great. They looked great. They were fun.
Mm-hmm.
God,
7 was
gorgeous.
Was a great pivot to being something completely different, but at the same time being the exact same experience that you want from a Resident Evil game. So yeah.
I know that you're not a huge fan. Well, correct me if I'm wrong on this, Sonic Boom. I always got the sense that you're not a huge fan of remakes. Generally, writ large, you don't really like them.
I don't have any beef with them. I just don't really get to them very often, unfortunately, because I played a game, I've experienced it, I've moved on. With the exception of Halo, I play those remakes, so they got their place. Like I might play Mass Effect when they remake that finally.
Yeah.
Rumors and speculation, that's never happening. Resident Evil 8, no specific release date was given, but Capcom, as they had said previously, is planning on release in 2021. I think they had even said that's going to be quarter 1 or 2. Am I imagining that? Q1
I'm going to say it's going to be quick, because the last 2 games they put out, it was like, here's this game, it's a badly kept secret, but oh, by the way, it's coming out in 3 months. Like, what?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. They for like 4 years have had like a game. It's like, hey, it's E3. Look at this game. It's out in January.
I thought Resident Evil 7 was like, to me, Resident Evil 7 was really like the first really signature Capcom, like Capcom is back moment for current gen to me. They had been doing like a whole bunch of like HD remasters or ports, which I really loved because they had like Resident Evil Origins and Okami and Devil May Cry, Onimusha, some awesome games. But then when they made Resident Evil 7, like it was distinctly current gen, or it was distinctly new Resident Evil, and I was just like, oh my god, Capcom is back. So I have like full trust in what they're going to be doing with Resident Evil 8. One last thing on Resident Evil 8. Does anybody else get strong Resident Evil 4 vibes from this thing?
Oh, yeah.
Oh
yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Las Plagas and a line at a high
Totally.
What are you selling?
No, that guy, the merchant, is freaking in Resident Evil 8.
That's on the nose. I mean, duh.
I mean, he's eating a few cupcakes, but he's there. That's him. Same guy. Let's see. Next item. Developer Koei Tecmo, perhaps most noted for the long-running franchise Dynasty Warriors, showed us a gameplay look at Hyrule Warriors: Age of Calamity. Hyrule Warriors will be published by Nintendo. Will launch on Switch on November 20th this year. I don't know if you guys got a look at that one. I was really surprised how Breath of Wildy it looked.
Yeah. It like those cutscenes look. They could have been in Breath of the Wild.
Like, is it in engine, or I mean, is that like Breath of the Wild engine? It almost looks like it. For God's sake,
they've got to be sharing some assets or something.
Yeah, I would think so too.
Yeah. It looks great.
Koei Tecmo is actually developing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Huh. I wonder if they had their
published by Nintendo and developed by Koei Tecmo.
Do you think they have their fingers in the jar for helping out with Breath of the Wild 2?
That would surprise me, but never say never. I mean,
I think it's Monolith that's helping with Breath of the Wild 2. The Xenoblade team. I know there's a good chunk of
that. Is that right? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think they've worked on the first one too.
Wow,
that open world experience.
Look at me go. I can't wait for Breath of the Wild 2. I'm going to drop a smoldering hot take. Breath of the Wild is the best game of the current generation. Bang.
I feel
and
like
you guys agree.
Say
cool,
this is the best thing ever with everything. Mario's the best.
I'm
Metal
here
It's
Gear's
hard
the
to argue
best.
against.
Dead Space is the best.
Dead Space is the best. So is Red. So is.
All right, you're
Metal Gear
Spider-Man,
Solid 5.
and
So is,
I'm
okay.
you're Spider-Man. I'm the Green Goblin, and
Spider-Man.
I've got Dead Space in one hand, and I've got Metal Gear in the other, and I'm like, you must choose Spider-Man, and then let him go. Which one do you
Oh,
pick
that's
up?
easy. That's easy. Goodbye, Isaac. Die in a fire, Dead Space. I love you, but I mean, it's Metal Gear Solid.
Okay, to visualize this, I need to know what the Spider-Man's face looks like.
Ooh,
To be
that's a
determined.
killer segue.
I could tell you, but I might change it in the next installment.
Oh, okay,
So,
okay, good.
Jury's out on the face. All right. But hold on just a minute, and we'll talk about Spider-Man's face. One last note I wanted to say on TGS. Microsoft did have a presence at the show, showing Flight Simulator, and had a gameplay trailer for various launch software for their upcoming consoles, Series S and Series X. This, of course, coming off swirling rumors that Microsoft has intention to buy out Sega following their gangbusters acquisition of ZeniMax, which was announced September 21st for $7.5 billion.
With a B.
With a B.
Big ol' B.
Although,
I like that the rumors got crazy enough that Microsoft announced that they would not be announcing
Yeah, I
any
know.
acquisitions during
Right.
the show.
that was
Their
like
social media
first
team
statement.
is just on fire with all that stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
they're great.
We will be at TGS. We're not spending billions while we're there. Just so everyone knows, we're not.
wait, so
Yeah.
that means they're going to get Sega for millions and not billions? What a steal!
They should have said that and then went and bought Sega.
Yeah, I'm
Just
sure
kidding.
I'm sure they tried and wish they did before Monster Hunter came out, because now that's Capcom. Never mind.
That's Capcom.
I'm an idiot.
Stay off
Capcom,
of
too.
Capcom.
Same thing. Capcom. They should have
Capcom's
bought them
off
too.
limits. Actually, while we're on the topic, like now that I mean, obviously the acquisition with ZeniMax made waves, continues to make waves, continues to make impact. I think they just announced this week, or I think now as we
Today.
record this, Doom Eternal is on Game Pass, so which I think is really, really good. I mean, make impact right away. You just spent a lot of allowance money, so
Yeah.
make it be felt. But as we sit here now, like, what do you think about the prospect of Sega? Is that more than a rumor? Where there's smoke, is there a fire?
It's a rumor. It's just like Konami being bought by Sony for the last 2 years. It's just people are
That's in the
Yeah.
works.
they're bored. They're at home. They don't got a lot to do because of the Rona, and they're just making stuff up. But like I said last week on episode 0, everyone's talking to everyone. So I'm sure there's been talks. I'm sure there's been deals that were close to happening and then just didn't.
Yeah, right.
So,
What do you think, Greg?
Yeah, I don't know. They bought ZeniMax and no one had any inkling, so
Yeah.
it kind of seems
Just
like
that's
they're keeping stuff like that
bonkers.
pretty tightly locked.
I mean, a purchase that big with that big of magnitude, no one had any clue of. Like, that's insane these days.
Yeah.
That's kind of like, as we discussed last week, when that hit, it kind of instilled the fear of God in everybody, because in my opinion, this was the first time that Microsoft really had been this aggressive in the Xbox division. This is the first time they've really acted like the company with the profile they actually have spending wise. So it was like a few days of like, what else can they do? Would they do? Should they do?
Yeah.
So it was
Yeah.
like this kind of got traction really quick. But even now, as I think about it, I guess a couple of things in retrospect. Number one, I was reading that the deal with ZeniMax actually took quite a while, or they had been in those conversations for quite a while. And I agree with you, Sonic Boom, or sorry, it's Greg was saying, but that I think people are talking to people all the time. Like, we don't hear it until it's actually a deal, but I do think that companies like Microsoft, companies like Sony are constantly talking to a lot of different developers and publishers about the prospect of, whether it's a buyout or IP rights, what have you. I will say about Sega specifically, like, it wouldn't completely shock me, honestly, because of, again, like Sega specifically has had, they've kind of been holding hands with Microsoft going back to the original Xbox. Well, even before that on the Dreamcast. So it was like kind of one of those,
Yeah.
I could see it happen. I could definitely see it happen. So I don't know.
Well,
Yeah.
with the lens
And it
of
was
them
like
buying. Go ahead.
It was a Sega-owned studio that developed Halo Wars 2 Creative Assembly.
Oh yeah,
So,
right. Good point.
And yeah, they've done a lot of stuff together.
They have, and I do think that Microsoft could use any presence in the Japanese region as possible. Although, actually, as I say this too, like, I don't know what the sales figure, the pre-sales figures were specifically for the Type S in Japan. But did you guys have any? Well, did you hear that the Series S pre-sold pretty well in Japan? And I don't know. Again, I don't know if that's a relative or if that's just corporate speak or what. But
A little bit of A, a little bit of B. I mean, anything sold in Japan for Xbox is a W. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure I don't have the numbers in front of me, but they couldn't have sold more than low 6 digits for the last generation.
I actually know. I actually know off the top of my head because I just read this week. Just take a guess in the dark, shot in the dark, what the Xbox One sold in Japan last
The
gen.
original one,
Yeah,
64,000 copies.
That's actually not a bad guess. 114,000 units.
See, that's close.
I was like, damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, low 6 figures.
But I don't know. I don't think they should just give the fight up. I think the Series S, just the form factor alone, is way more enticing for the Japanese market. And I know that sounds weird, but like, I don't know. The Japanese, like, they're not as hot even on the PS4 as you might think sales figures wise.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, the PS4 has a stronghold, but like, Nintendo dominates in that market. And I think a lot of it is
They're not
form
big
factor.
on consoles. They're big on handheld still. And
Yeah,
that's,
right.
That's things that people don't realize. Is it's Europe that mostly is where Sony's making all their millions and millions.
And North America.
Yeah, North America.
Be the dubs.
I wonder if xCloud could start making a huge difference in Japan.
Yeah, let's riff on xCloud for 2 minutes. I admittedly don't know a ton about it. Can one of you two fine gents just, if you know off the top of your head, just generally describe what xCloud is?
Great.
What you
Go ahead.
Anybody?
You- Actually, no. I play.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So, I mean, basically, you are playing a game on a screen that
Mhm.
is being played in a server, in some Microsoft server somewhere, and it works pretty well the few times I've used it.
Works
Like-
very well.
Yeah, like, there's always going to be a little latency, but
Yeah.
it's totally playable. Like, I mean, especially if you're like, I've played like some Assassin's Creed on it, and those aren't like lightning fast response games anyway. So like, that feels good. If you're doing stuff like turn-based RPGs, like, you'll never
Yeah,
notice.
right.
Yeah.
No.
I played Gears on it when it first launched because I was in the beta on the Android. This is all for mobile right now currently.
Right.
With plans to go to like browser and Samsung apps on your TV and all that. But I played Gears of War, was able to active reload, no problem.
Nice.
Had no problem with that. Played Hyperdot yesterday,
Whoa.
and it worked great. No
Wow.
problems. And then I also played the Tourist a little bit today while I was quote unquote working. So yeah, I mean it works great. It works like you want it to.
My major question is, how does Flutter Bombs play?
Well,
If it
We'll
can keep
have to
up
wait and
with
see.
laser
games you
beaming
can-
butterflies, I'm sold.
well, the games you can actually play on it are pretty limited. Not
Yeah.
too limited, but it's a finite list of what you
Yeah.
can play through your Game Pass subscription, and then you can also just stream to your console as well if you're doing the streaming app, which that is just like the cloud xCloud. It's seamless. Like,
Yeah.
I have my
I've
phone
used
in
that a
front of
lot
me.
more.
I have my phone in front of me while I'm watching my TV and using the controller, and it's instant. Like you can't even tell that there's any lag or any latency in your movement.
Yeah, and I was watching, correct me if any of this is wrong, but like I was watching, I think Alana Pierce had like a preview, and she was playing on an Android device that they had shipped to her to preview it, but they have like the joystick attachments that are pretty much like cut and copy from the Switch layout, which I think is genius. And I think she played like Master Chief Collection and was playing Forza, and I was like, damn, that's it looked performance wise, it looked like it was not only playable but like feasibly a gaming interface, which is a big thing. Let me ask you this, however. I've been hearing a lot on Twitter and the like from the Xbox crowd about, obviously, Game Pass has continued to gain traction as just like a selling point for Xbox. I mean, I know Game Pass has been a thing, a huge thing. I have not been really in the Xbox ecosystem for a while, so I think this year was the first time where it really got my attention. It was like, damn, that is like the Microsoft brand is now really tied to Game Pass. Arguably, it's their selling point, almost more so than the consoles they are launching in some ways. But my question really is, as I'm seeing people talk on Twitter and everything, everybody's referencing now the console war is over, and Microsoft is kind of, obviously they've changed their sales model to subscription based. That's what they want to do, and they're kind of moving over to another market, which is, they want to appeal to also the mobile market, and obviously this is evidence of that. My question really is, do you see this as a vibrant marketplace for a product like this or for a service like this?
Absolutely. I mean, we're seeing how well xCloud's working. We see Amazon jumping in with their Luna. We've seen Google Stadia. I mean, that's a big market. Mobile's huge, especially in over in Asia and all that, those places where everyone's got a phone, everyone's got a nice phone. Everyone likes to play mobile games. That's the big draw. Like we said earlier, not a lot of consoles are sold in Japan. They like their mobile games. That's why Nintendo's doing so well, because it's a mobile device. So yeah, like you said, it's their future. It is their platform, the subscriptions to Game Pass.
What do you think, Greg?
Yeah, I'm a picky person, so I cannot see myself, if I didn't have an Xbox, being like, oh, I should subscribe to this just for the streaming.
Mm-hmm.
But I think a lot of people might. Like, $14 a month, $14.99 a month is not that much for that huge chunk of games that you don't even have to buy a console for.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at the studios they've acquired.
Yeah,
you're going to get a AAA game every 2 to 3 months.
I mean, how many people want to play the next Elder Scrolls on their phone without having to buy a console?
I guess, feel free to totally disagree with me. Because I think about this, and I'm like, this is kind of where I'm at with it. Like, this is amazing technology that Microsoft is displaying, and it's never. I mean, we've seen this sort of thing attempt to be implemented, and I think this really does play to Microsoft's strength. Like I've thought for years. I mean, Microsoft is a networking company. They're gonna pivot to their strength as a company, and this is really, to me, when they're really equipped to handle the future of just the interface of gaming, to me, because of this exact concept, uniquely positioned. And obviously they're uniquely positioned in like company profile. They're huge. They dwarf Nintendo and Sony. A lot of people kind of forget that, but they do. And that's a big thing.
They're one of the few companies that can physically handle this because of all the data centers they have around the world.
Yeah, right. They're uniquely positioned for this. My thing that I come back to is like, I have no doubt that people already like you guys that are in the Xbox ecosystem are gonna love this, and it's another access point to Xbox, and it's awesome. I really wonder though, because I hear a lot of people on Twitter say, Microsoft doesn't want to compete with Sony. They don't have to compete with Sony anymore. I can see that point to a degree, but I guess I don't understand, like, the average, like, in my mind, and I don't have the facts right in front of me, but I have read in the past that, like, the average gamer, because of mobile games, is actually skewed towards older woman, because when you include mobile, it includes a huge, like, by revenue, mobile games make way more than console games. That's another thing
It's
people forget.
redonkulous.
That's another thing people forget. But my point, really, just to play devil's advocate, is just because it's a potential marketplace where games are bought doesn't mean that you have the potential buyer for what you're selling. I only say that because mobile games, like, they may eventually get to the place where it's a vibrant marketplace for a console quality game. Clearly that's what Microsoft's doing, and I think it's awesome that they're going to just shove their way into this market space, because I think mobile games, they don't really appeal to me. But I'm just wondering if they're going to appeal to that huge swath of potential consumers if they're not already plugged in or acclimated to the Microsoft ecosystem. You know what I mean? That's my only thought. I'm going to be really interested to see what they do with it.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, because the average soccer mom who's playing Candy Crush, is she going to want to do Master Chief Collection?
Right.
Yeah, probably not. But the fact that 200 million Samsung phones are sold every year, it's like, all right, you got the device, just get the service. People have TVs, so that's why they get the Hulus, the Netflixes. That's the model Xbox is going after. Is you have the device already, let's give you an option to play games on.
No, I hear you, and I don't know, maybe this is conflating factors too much, but I kind of even think, like, in my opinion, Google with the Stadia, for example, and perhaps Amazon with the Luna, I think that they kind of bull rush into markets that they think that, oh, we're here and we offer a new thing and you can stream it and it's like Netflix and we have all the games, so why don't you come play with us? It's like, it's not that easy, because the gaming space is pretty damn established when you're talking core games and core gamers. Like, if you just looked at it on paper, you might think, oh, it's the huge marketplace and it's highly competitive, and a company like Google is going to transition great because they also do networking and blah, blah. Well, it's, at least now, like, it's not that easy, because when you come play with the Sharks, you got Microsoft and you got Sony, established games, and Nintendo's not there yet, but they could be if the market dictated it. You know what I'm saying? It's just, maybe I'm kind of old school in my thinking, but I just think legacy companies, like, they carry so much with them when they enter those markets that I don't know.
Yeah, there's brand loyalty. I see what you're saying. Yeah, there's brand loyalty, and it's not a market. It's not an industry you can just throw money at. Like,
yeah, I will be interested to see what Amazon does.
Stadia proved that to the T. Like, you can't just throw money at something, because who plays Stadia?
Seriously, and like, or Greg, I'll ask you too. Like, what? I feel like I forget the damn thing exists. I seriously forget it even exists.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is just, like, people are real, like, hesitant with these new companies coming in, like, especially with Stadia, where you have to actually buy the games on there. Like, spending $60 for a game, and honestly, I don't know that they're going to be around in 3 months or something. Like, if I'm getting ready to put my money down, like, I can go out and get a disc for PlayStation or Xbox. I've got that. I know they're not going to go anywhere anytime soon. And it's just real. I don't know.
I don't know. And again, maybe I'm conflating factors. I just always, even with Stadia, I'm like, well, who's your potential consumer or customer? Like, they're already plugged in and they've got their exclusives, or that's where they play. They're not going to jump ship just because you have a new streaming device with some of the games they're already playing. I don't know. Maybe I'm pessimistic. I'm kind of old
think
school.
the Amazon one could be a little, like, it's all subscriptions, so you just, pay monthly. Like, that's more appealing to me. It's like, oh, okay, I pay for a month. I got my month. I'm not worried about losing anything that I bought. But yeah, I don't know.
Again, like, what is this? What does the Luna do different from the Stadia? Again, like, $4.99 for a month of selection of games, Twitch integration, 4K 60. That's impressive. I guess, does the Stadia do that? Probably. maybe.
They say they do.
It say it does, but I don't know.
Contingent. Okay, we can move on. I just kind of wanted to get your general thoughts on that, and specifically with xCloud. It's been in the news this week, and it's definitely turned my head. But I don't know. I'm just interested. I'm not sold,
Yeah.
but I am interested in it, and I think it's cool. It's definitely
It's a long
cool.
con. It's a long con. It's something they've known would be a long con, but next generation is going to be completely shaped by cloud gaming. So 7-10 years from now, it's going to be ginormous compared to what it is now.
I agree that's where it's going. I'm skeptical about that's where we are.
That's why Sony's partner with Microsoft for those Azure servers, is the fact that they even know that cloud gaming is going to be a thing, and they need to do something that is better than what their current
it's definitely coming.
Solution is.
It's definitely coming. There's no doubt about that. Okay, next item on this delicious menu. We had to talk about Spider-Man and his face. Actually, not just his face, but he's causing some news ruckus.
Oh, man, the ruffled feathers.
Yeah.
The jimmies are rustled.
Yeah. Upcoming Insomniac
I'm gonna put on my Xbot hat here and be like, you ponies are just sad. Why are you sad? Matt, tell me, why are you sad all the time?
Let me just read
what
the
makes
news
you cry?
Story before you just get like that. Okay.
Why does someone's face hurt you?
I don't personally care about the face, but we'll talk about the face. Insomniac Games title, Spider-Man Miles Morales. Of course, you know it as a launch title for PS5, coming out November 12th for both PS4 and PS5. Made some news this week. The deluge of information, we might say. Insomniac Games has clarified that if you start Spider-Man Miles Morales, there's a lot of sections to this, so just I don't know.
Slice it up, baby.
Let's slice it up.
Yeah.
If you buy Spider-Man Miles Morales on PS4, you will be able to carry over your save to PS5. However, the same is not true for Spider-Man Remastered, which is coming as part of the PS5 Ultimate Edition of Miles Morales. Let me just bullet point this, okay? Standard version of Miles Morales, you can buy it on PS4 or PS5. If you buy it on PS4, you can upgrade it to PS5. But to access Spider-Man Remastered, you have to buy the Ultimate Edition of Spider-Man Miles Morales. Although this I did figure out, and I didn't know this before we started the show. If you buy Spider-Man and Miles Morales, are you confused yet? If you buy Spider-Man Miles Morales by itself, you can upgrade to the remastered Spider-Man for $20 extra.
Yeah,
I didn't know that. At least they're offering that. But you can't buy, at least as of now, you can't buy Spider-Man Remastered by itself. A la carte. But the other news was PS4 players who played the 2018 release of Spider-Man will not be able to carry over their save to Spider-Man Remastered on PS5. And that's the world we live in right now. Now, I will say, for me personally, I'm uniquely lucky because Spider-Man's on my list of shame game. So I haven't played it yet. So I am going to play it on PS5. At least that's the plan. Of course, I really want to play Miles Morales. I think it looks really good, but
yeah,
I think this it's a bummer, especially when you consider this is coming in context of a few things. Number one, I've heard other games that are also not going to play nice with save transfers.
Yeah,
I think
that's a problem.
And I heard Dirt 5, which is probably kind of under the radar because not as many people play Dirt 5, but I'm going to play Dirt 5. So it makes me wonder.
Looks really good.
Makes me wonder, what's going on with the save thing? And the other side of the coin is there's no problem with Xbox with the save.
It's just smart delivery. It just works.
So
you just buy it, you own it, and you pull it up, and you got it.
So that's interesting. I mean,
it's got to be due to the PSID thing, right?
Oh, interesting.
I mean, it's got to be something to do with that. Because remember back when you had your PSID and your name and all that, and you could switch it, but it was causing all kinds of issues with trophies and whatnot. Mm-hmm. It's got to be something with that, right?
Could be.
Or is the system so that much different from the 4 that it's not just copy, save as, PS5 executable,
I guess I hadn't considered the profile bit. My first thought was really that it architecturally it is different, and for some reason they're having issues. Although they have said that there are other games that don't have this issue on PS5. So I really, you got me. But I'll tell you one thing: who should be like giving us the freaking lowdown is Sony. I'm about ready for them to explain their backwards
Yeah.
compatibility plans.
I've
So
heard all these people like just nightmare scenarios that I haven't even thought of, and I'm like, oh no,
Right.
surely not. Like, people assuming that maybe none of your saves for these PlayStation Plus collection games will carry over. You'll have to start fresh saves on them all,
yeah.
or maybe those are the only backwards compatible games day one. It's like, oh no, I hope not.
Yeah. Yeah, does my God of War save
Yeah.
from the PS4 transfer to the PS5 best of collection?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm going
good
to
question.
go on record. I don't think that's going to be a problem. My honest sense is that like there are PS5 versions and PS4 versions of some games right now, and in this
Yeah.
intergenerational transition, it's going to look kind of crappy for them. But I mean, who knows until they say, but I want to say any game that's going to be running in like PS5 boost mode that you're playing a PS4 game, I would really be shocked if that was an issue. But again, until they say something, we're all in speculation town, which is really BS.
Yeah.
And it's about time for them to say
The
something.
fact
No.
that everyone is worried about this and they just haven't said anything is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. The system comes out in under a month and a half.
Isn't that exciting, by the way?
It's so great.
Oh my God.
Hey,
So close, man.
I won't mince words. You know, Xbox has got some explains to do too. Not so much
Yeah.
with backwards compatibility, but some other things. We can.
Yeah,
Which that
we'll
may be
riff on that.
later.
We will definitely get into that. I am interested on you guys' thoughts on that. Let me just say one other thing about Spider-Man's face for a second. Alongside
Yes, the
the
meat
saving in oh, go ahead. Good. Were you gonna say something?
No, I was just like, we forgot that part.
Oh yeah. But lest we forget, along with the saving and remaster Funhouse, Insomniac announced this week they are recasting the face model for Peter Parker, changing face model from John Bubniak to Ben Jordan. What you always wanted. Noting that Jordan is a better match for Yuri Lowenthal's facial capture performance. Damn, that sounds good on paper. Why would anyone be upset about this?
It sounds good on paper, yeah.
It sounds like.
Spread
Does
a
anyone
new
know who those
face.
people are?
Well, let me ask
why?
you. Yeah, oh God. There was more like, corporate reasoning for this. I'm not going to get into that, but I did want to ask Greg specifically. Actually, you guys are both pretty big fans of Spidey.
I'll let Greg go first.
Because I know, Greg, I saw you on Twitter. You're like, I remember you saying something to the effect of, this doesn't sit well with me, or something like that.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
like, you're more connected to the character and to the IP. So I just wanted to ask, like, what your knee-jerk reaction was, your knee-jack, if you will.
Yeah. It's not bad by any means. Like, it's fine. It's just weird to change it now. Like, I kind of grew attached to that. Like, that feels like that Peter Parker to me.
Right.
And like, he's supposed to be like older in this game, and that new face looks so young.
Yeah.
But I mean, he looks a lot like Tom Holland now. And that has to be somehow related.
There you go. Keep going down that trail, baby.
Yeah.
Follow the breadcrumbs.
Yeah. And the old one looked a little like Andrew Garfield.
I think that's where it's at. I mean, they can't say it, but I think the next game, full-fledged title, it's going to look like Tom Holland more, because that's who we know as Spider-Man in the Spider-Verse currently through the Sony movies. And it's kind of a soft transition where they're probably doing some technical upgrades, they're doing some tech debt, working on it, and getting things moving for that game. And they're like, well, he's going to look more like Tom Holland anyway, so let's just rip off the Band-Aid now, get that face and that VO going, and we'll just make a transition, which is odd to do mid-generation. Well, not really mid-generation, but end of a generation into the new gen, because you really don't see a lot of remasters where they change a character model.
Yeah.
I will say, I'm not that connected to this, with, full disclosure and full respect. I'm not that connected to this, but like, just from my vantage point, I do think the face looks less video gamey. I think it looks better to me, just as a model, as a facial model. But
I agree.
you know,
Looks much better.
at the same time, like Greg, you're saying, it's an established character. I don't know. I could see why people were upset about this. I could see why people would be upset about this.
I think it looks more Spider-Man. I think people should be happy because honestly, I thought the character models in the original game looked like cheeks. When you look at Mary J, I could not tell you. If you showed me her on a piece of paper and you asked me, who character is this? I would be like, I don't know, a redhead. Mary Jane would be the last person I thought. Same with Spider-Man. He looked like cheeks. Just awful.
Well, then you'll be happy to know that the remastered version is getting a graphics overhaul. Improved models, they say. Materials, ray traced, reflections, ambient shadows.
Yeah.
Higher fidelity skin, eye, teeth shaders. New teeth.
Nice, get them teeth.
Oh,
Faster loading performance mode. 60 frames targeting. I will say they did release a few like little gameplay trailers. I think it looks pretty good. I do appreciate like the conversation around the confusion with like the upgrade aside. The game itself looks pretty damn dope. I think it's cool that they're doing this in depth of a remaster. I mean, we can have the whole conversation about do we need to remaster games that are 2 years old? I personally love when they do stuff like this.
Yeah.
But I think it's pretty dope. And I think Miles Morales looks really slick. Really slick. It's definitely day and date.
I saw on Twitter someone like pulled screenshots that matched the new ones they put out from the original game, and it is a bump up for sure.
Yeah. Reflections and all the rays traced, things of that sort. Last news item, which I kind of wanted to use this to launch into our next topics of convo, because I actually think this was the most exciting news of the week for me personally. I'm sure you guys will agree. Microsoft started freeing their Xbox Series X into the wild. Did you guys see this? Starting Monday the 28th on my birthday. Happy birthday. Outlets of all kinds reporting to have had their grubby paws on the new hardware. Well, they haven't been able to go on hands-on with their launch software. Outlets like Digital Foundry have been giving stellar reviews for the backwards compatibility features, specifically on Series X, reporting reduced load times, consistent 60 frames when clocked in 4K resolutions. I have been like Digital Foundry specifically. Their video was really informative because they break it down really well, and you can really see the technically what is happening with the console, and it's. I mean, damn, I'll be honest, like, I saw that, I'm like, Jesus. I mean, we'll get into this later, too, but it actually turns my head quite a lot. Some of my favorite games, like, of all time, literally have been this generation. Some of the games that they were tech-speccing, like Taquito, 60 frames, 4K, I was like, ooh, I like that. I can do that. So, and they did, I think that they were like really stress testing with specific titles too, and performance was really, really consistent, and they had nothing but good things to say. When Digital Foundry speaks, I definitely listen, so.
That's the video you're waiting for. Like, I saw Jeff Grubb's video came out, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And then I saw Tom Warren's like, oh, this is going to be a thing. And then I saw, I'm drawing a blank. Help me out, boys. We were just talking about it. Oh my God.
Digital Foundry.
Embarrassing. Digital Foundry, thank you. Yeah. We saw that like, hey, we're still polishing. No. We said, they said, hey, we're still putting the polish on our video, but we'll have that up soon. It's like, all right, that's the video people want to watch because that's the one that you go to for specs. And it looked amazing. Like they did Hitman, and it solid 60 almost the entire time, which is great. And these are on games that aren't optimized for new hardware.
That's like the most impressive thing to me.
Yeah, these are just out of the box.
That's amazing. It's really, really awesome. Really, really awesome.
And they went to the times for transferring games from the internal SSD to an external and vice versa. And it's like you get Assassin's Creed Origins transferred externally to internally under 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Like that's insane.
That's huge. With these small hard drives and the expansion cards being so expensive, like to be able to easily just back up my games in the fridge on an old drive, like, and it not take an hour to do it would be fantastic.
Yeah, because when you see something like that, where you can get a game moved from one hard drive to another in under 10 minutes, it's like, Yeah, I don't need to spend $220 on the expansion pack.
Yeah.
I can just use my 3 terabyte hard drive I have from Western Digital, load it up, and then transfer things as needed.
Yeah.
As far as I saw, the everybody that had hands-on with the Series X have had it for like a week or more. All major outlets that you would expect. I didn't see anybody. I'm pretty sure the NDA is dictated. Obviously, they can't talk about launch software. I doubt they even have that yet. But like UI, also, I haven't seen or heard much about that, other than like, I think Ryan McCaffrey. I remember him saying there's just a lot of like quality of life features around it, that it just it's zippy stuff you would expect from next gen, but
it just loads. Like, it's gotten better in the last couple of years. But like, because it used to take a while to load up your games, now it's almost instant. So what you have now for a dashboard on the Xbox is what you're going to see on the Series X and S. So we know what it looks like.
Oh, did they say that? Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah. The current update, which everyone should have now, is what it's going to look like going forward.
Oh, is that to everyone now? I didn't. Yeah.
It should be.
Yeah.
It's just nice. Kind of bummer. You kind of want to have something new and fresh when you get a new piece of hardware, but in the Microsoft Xbox, ecosystem, it's kind of expected that everything has got this cohesion.
Yeah, there's no reason to tear it all down and start over. Like, it works. Because
we don't know what the PlayStation 5's desktop looks like. We have no clue. We don't know what any of that UI looks like, which is month and a half out. It's kind of troublesome.
I'll say it when they're damn good and ready, okay? I actually do think...
Nay, pony.
Just chill, all right? We'll get there.
I love you.
I do think actually it would make sense that the UI is similar because, again, I don't know, I kind of think of Microsoft now, they're more selling iterations of their platform as opposed to, Sony's been really hard on the generational divide. So to have the ubiquity and like, this is the Xbox experience that you can expect to be somewhat similar, that makes sense.
Because they aligned all devices, whether you're on your desktop, on your phone, on an Xbox, it's all pretty tight.
As long as it doesn't look like a freaking Microsoft Surface, dear God.
Rest in peace.
Comes with a Kinect, and you have to talk to it to put it to bed.
Kinect is great, man. Anyone that's added a Kinect and had kids would know and appreciate voice commands and how great they were.
Know that you just rip that thing out and put it back in the box where it belongs. Kidding.
Don't be rude.
I'm sorry. I thought that I won't get into that. So I wanted to ask you guys, speaking of the Series X specifically, of course, both of you brohams pre-ordered, gonna get it on launch day on the 10th, hopefully, assuming all those
Thor willing.
Nobody has gotten like some dreadful email, right, that everything's canceled and
not yet
the world is on fire. That would be the worst. That's literally
outside though, you might not get it on launch day from like Amazon. No.
Yeah.
And this is like, retailers oversold. Your thing might get canceled. Like, where did you get that from? I saw it online. Well, that's not a source. Thanks.
I think so. I honestly like. I think it's just a little CYA. I've actually personally throughout COVID have had really good luck with Amazon on shipping everything, with Amazon specifically. So remind me again where you guys pre-ordered your Series X's.
I got one from Target and Amazon. I think I got a third one from GameStop, which I'll probably cancel or sell to someone.
Or Scalp.
Yeah, Scalp.
Before the show, you're giving me all this stuff for being a scalper.
Well, you got 5 PS5s. Yeah, a scalper.
I have not resold a thing, so until that day, I'm not a scalper. Thank you very much. How about you, Greg? You got yours from Amazon?
I got mine from the Microsoft store.
Right.
And then I've got one from Amazon that a buddy of mine's buying. And yeah, got that email it might not be delivered right on time. The Microsoft store says will be delivered on November 9th.
So I do have 4 then, because I forgot I did get one from the Microsoft store too. Whoops. I got some things to cancel.
Man, it smells like hypocrite up in this podcast.
Oh, every day, baby. I am the worst. I will hypocrite till the day I die.
It's fine. We love you. I actually have, personally for me, I have the PS5 pre-ordered through Sony Direct.
Nice.
They
came
reached
through
out
for
to me
you.
personally, and they're like, "We're sorry. We wanted you to be first, but there was some problem, and we sent out the emails." So anyway, that actually, I was going to tell you guys, like that whole process was pretty pain-free. It was. I wish every outlet did that. I wish all retailers did that. It was really painless. But anyway, they're.
You were anointed. You're the chosen one.
Yeah.
You
I'm the
know,
chosen one.
your
I'm
loyalty
Warhorse,
has
baby.
been rewarded. Yeah,
I'm Warhorse. They know
as
my
it should have
Twitter
been.
handle. They can't follow me publicly for
Oh yeah.
corporate facing
Mhm.
reasons, but
Yeah, you and Shado. How do you say his name? Hue. Got him.
Shuei Yoshida. Shuei
Got him.
Yoshida.
Bless you.
He's
Yeah, I know you guys play tennis.
we're on DMs all the time, man.
Yeah.
Like whenever
Oh, I
he's
know.
in the
I know,
States, I'm
babe.
like, Shuei, come play games with me, man. But anyway, they're one thing that like nobody said, but when you pre-ordered the PS5 from Sony Direct, they offer you $20 shipping of the console on the day of launch, which like I'll pay anything to get it on launch day. But then also if you're a PlayStation Plus member, they shipped for free on launch day. I thought that was cool.
That is
Little
nice.
kickback, little
Yeah,
kickback.
fairly.
So I'm
Yeah.
I'm expecting them actually. I kind of have this weird theory that because they are handling logistics, like you might even get your console early. It's been known to happen. It's been known to happen.
I mean, that's the dream.
So I pray for you guys. I think we'll all be okay. We'll all be okay.
'Cause those blue 25th anniversary ones, didn't they ship those? Weren't they all through the Sony store?
Yeah, they've done
Yeah,
done this a few times. Like I have my Metal Gear Solid 4 limited edition PS3 that you had to buy specifically through Sony.
The gunmetal gray one.
Yeah, baby.
Oh
Thing's
man,
a hot
good
box.
pull.
Slick looking.
That was sharp. I remember that one.
That is sharp. I heard that thing was a real bitch to paint for some reason. This gonna sound so stupid. I don't know why I remember this, but they like the sale price on that was jacked up like $100, and they were like, "Well, it's hard to paint." Like,
Oh
it says Metal Gear. That's why. Don't lie to
Yeah.
me. Okay.
no,
Okay. So this is the question I was going to launch into. Speaking of the Series X, which is, I mean, it's well established at this point. I am a PlayStation faithful. I'm a warhorse, not a Sony pony. I'm a Sony warhorse. Greg, you're like the most agnostic gamer I've ever met in my life, and I think you have ascended to the next realm of this existence, and I think that's awesome. Sonic Boom, you're an Xboxer. I love you, but I'll call it what it is.
that's earned. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you wear that badge proudly. Like I put on my saddle, I'm a warhorse. That's who I am. So I wanted you guys to sell me the Series X at launch. We've had this conversation on
We've
Twitter.
had this conversation a
We've
lot.
had. I mean, Greg,
Oh man,
bless his heart. Like every single time anything's popping for Microsoft, he's like, hit, nudge. Microsoft is doing this and that. Look at this. It's always like a really good sales pitch, and I always feel so terrible because I'm like, I still got my hangups with it, but like, sell me the Series X at launch for you guys personally. Like, what? I really get the sense that, I mean, obviously Sonic Boom, you're super excited, and that's awesome. And it's launch season, baby. You got to get excited. But even Greg, like, I know with the PS4, you bought it day and date. You're real excited for it. And you seem to be mostly on PS4 for, I'd say about, and correct me if I'm wrong, but like 80% of the console cycle. And then you transition to Xbox when the One X came out.
Right,
right.
right.
So
Yep.
that's what you game on. So, it's awesome console. And that seems to me like you're more excited for the Series X than you are for PS5, at least at launch. Correct me if I'm wrong. However you feel about that. So, like, what for you makes that the case?
It's not one big thing. It's just a lot of little things. It's like games I'm still playing, like Forza Horizon 4. I can update it. It's gonna look great. I haven't played Gears of War 5 yet. Kind of updated. It's gonna look great. All this backwards compatibility stuff they're doing. There's so many games from this generation I haven't finished yet or even started, and they're gonna run better and look better. And they keep talking. They have not talked widely about it, but like there's something with some backwards compatibility games that they're gonna like double the frame rate on and up the resolution on. Like that
select games will, games that don't have a hard lock on the frame rate.
Yeah,
will get their frame rate doubled.
Yeah. So lots of stuff. Just looking at old games to be excited about, and then I mean, Game Pass is great. Like, there's gonna be so many games. Just drop it on there, and I'm gonna try them all. It's what I do.
And I could definitely see, to me at least from my vantage point on the Series X, they lost Halo at launch, and that was like a definitive moment for me. I love Halo, and so like losing that was kind of losing a lot of my enthusiasm to play it at launch. The backwards compatibility stuff is really, really intriguing. I'm expecting Sony to obviously define exactly what backwards compatibility looks like for PS5. I don't personally feel like I need to play every single game on PS4 on PS5 in 4K 60. I mean, it's obviously better to have that than not. It's not like it's not a selling point for me at launch per se. Definitely sweetens the pot. But like Series X to me, it seems like a bunch of quality of life improvements. It's a clear step up in like every usability metric. It doesn't, for me, it still doesn't have that game. It doesn't have the launch title that I'm really, really wanting to play. But I totally see like every single point you're raising, and the backwards compatibility stuff is super dope, super, super dope. But
for you specifically though, there are a lot of games. Like there's a Halo that you've never played.
No,
in
it's
4K 60 on there.
I mean,
day one.
I guess I'll say that for some reason it's a big deal to me to like say this is next gen.
Yeah.
This is next gen console, and we built this thing tailor made for the Series X. And like I know that thing's got a lot under the hood, and I would love to have seen anything from them to say this is why we say we're the world's most powerful console. Because until I see that, it's kind of like, again, we're back to like, in my opinion, with the Xbox One, and I feel for my Xbox brethren, because I feel like there was a lot of it's coming with Xbox One, specifically with their IP, with their exclusive IP. And like, they took a lot of swings at it, and I never felt like there was an IP that really was world changing. And it's not because they didn't make some good games, but I don't know. I'm a complicated beast. What can I say? I just want to play the butterfly game. Is what I want to do.
On sale on Xbox right now.
There you go. $4.99.
Sonic Boom. Talk to me. What makes you so excited about the Series X? Why is that? Why is it so different than a PC for you?
I feel like they're doing a lot of, like Greg said, a lot of little things correctly. And this might be a tangent for another episode, how I feel like towards the end of this generation, they're doing everything right. We got backwards compatibility. We're seeing awesome load times. Game Pass is just hitting on all cylinders. Quick resume, which is another feature that allows you to have 5-6 games that you can pull up within 5 to 10 seconds in rapid succession. So it's like a save state on an emulator. Other things like the boot time, like from a cold boot, is like 20 seconds, if that. So there's just a lot of little things that, as a tech enthusiast, someone who likes to be an early adopter, it gets me excited, because that was what this Monday embargo was about. Is let's see load times, let's see the UI and how fast and snappy it is. Because we got to see games like Final Fantasy 15 load in 13 seconds, Outer World 11 seconds. Like, those are fast load times.
Yeah, and that was, like, to me, the best way they could have revealed those features, is just let people use them.
Which is
really
nuts to see so many boxes get out in the wild this early.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, they were, under embargo, and they said, well, we can't show you this, and this, because we're on, not final systems, which is true. I'm sure it'll get a day one patch that'll make it a solid system. But, all the hardware's there. So most likely the UI is going to work the same, if not better. But yeah, I just feel like there's a cyclical nature in the games industry where one system, one device company is just doing everything right. They can't miss. And I feel like Xbox is just doing that right now, whereas Sony is just stumbling a little bit, with backwards compatibility, with save states, with Spider-Man's face being replaced. Like, that's a huge hit, losing Spider-Man's face. Like, you talk about Craig and Halo being gone. I mean, Spider-Man, we're going to lose his face. So
he's got a mask on half the time. He's maskless.
It's true.
No, I think it brings up interesting points. And as you were talking about, like, part of the reason I bring this up, like, with Xbox, and, like, you guys are some of the biggest Xbox fans I know, and you're really excited about the Series X. I'm not saying I'm not. I guess I kind of, like, it's hard to prognosticate now on a lot of this, because obviously there's a lot yet to be said, especially on the PS5 side. It will be revealed at some point. To me, like, they sent consoles out to people to actually use them. That speaks highly to their degree of confidence in backwards compatibility specifically, and they should be, because they spent what seemed like all of last generation, like, just building and iterating on that feature. And to me, like, again, when you're talking about Game Pass, this again makes Game Pass really damn good as a service, because it's not just about playing old games now. It's about playing them in the most modern state you could possibly really play them. That's really, really awesome. And again, you hear me say this, and then you probably wonder why the hell you're not excited about it. It's not that I'm not excited. I just, like, to me at launch, if you're just talking about launch titles, like PS5, historically speaking, Sony has not really launched great software. I mean, even on the consoles that they did gangbusters, like PS2, they didn't really launch with much on the PS2. Now, it was a weird time, and, they launched in a weird, like, transition, and Sega was fading out, and Microsoft hadn't yet showed up. Nintendo was losing a little bit. But even still, the PS2 didn't launch with great software. PS3 didn't really launch with great software. Even the PS4, which I would actually put above the PS2 and PS3 in terms of just unique software for the console, like, PS5 to me is launching with pretty damn good software to me. I'm super excited about it. Like,
but
to
none
me,
of it's new.
What's that?
None of it's new, though.
Demon Souls is...
You played that game 13 years ago.
Again, though, like, this is tailor-made for the PS5.
Ground up tailor-made by a
AAA. That, like,
it's shiny.
It's okay. Here's my question, though. Like, what on the Xbox is Scream's next gen on launch day?
Valhalla.
Well, it's going to be on
Yakuza,
PS5.
Dirt.
That's all going to be on PS5.
Yeah, that's true.
And again, it doesn't, I don't know. Just as a launch day piece of hardware. Personally,
I don't think either system has that thing. It doesn't have the go-to. Like, once Halo is gone, it's like, well, what, now that we know that Spider-Man isn't, exclusive to PS5, it's like, I don't think either system has that system seller. Like, Spider-Man looks great, but you can get that on PS4. Same with Horizon.
I said that about Halo, and Halo is going to be dope as hell.
Yeah, and Halo's the same way. That was supposed to be on Xbox One as well, but I don't feel like there is that I have to have software. Like PS4, Xbox One, they had a great launch lineup. We got like Sunset Overdrive, Dead Rising 3.
No, Sunset Overdrive was like a year later, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was much later. That's
when I bought one, and it was late. I bought that
launch window. Close enough.
It was like
launch window.
Yeah.
Rise. Yeah, I can't say Rise.
Rise.
They should bring Rise back, dude. Seriously.
Crytek and Microsoft. That ship sailed.
Yeah.
They're not.
Rise was a lot better than I played it real late, but I was like, oh, this wasn't bad.
It still looks good. It holds up.
Yeah, great looking.
But
sure.
I think the systems look great. they have that new system smell going on, but I'm not excited for any one game. No, it's all third party, really.
That there's a lot of enticing third party stuff. One thing that I saw this week that I thought was really interesting. There was and I can't remember who the source was on this, but they were like, it was a mass marketing firm just asking people on their opinions for next gen, and they had asked people in January and then like a week ago, how likely are you to buy these consoles? And like the numbers, really the excitement for both consoles hadn't really changed at all. I mean, they're going to have their core that are going to buy these consoles, but like the needle hasn't moved at all. And that is post showcases, post acquisition, post Game Pass, post a lot of information. And that sort of surprised me. And like where I'm going is really this. What is going to be different about Microsoft this generation? That's kind of where I come back to. Because like right now, they keep saying, for example, that they're saying we're not really competing with Sony anymore. I can see that. But to me, like as long as you're in the console space, that's how people are going to perceive the competition to be.
Yeah.
I just kind of wonder, like, and again, maybe I'm just thinking in traditional terms, but if they don't move they have an uphill battle to climb. I mean, they were outsold over 2-1 in domestic region for them. Pretty handily in Europe, obviously in Japan. So like if they don't move the needle in the console space, is that a problem for them or not? Like I'm just really wondering, do they need to have a really good launch to gain back? It's like they're doing everything right, but even when you do everything right, it's like an uphill battle because narratives carry over, and we still don't know really like where the average consumer is. They don't really care or know about a lot of these details. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know.
I think they took a note from Sony. Like PS3 was not good for Sony. Like it took all of Europe and Japan for them to eventually outsell the 360, and that's with the big red ring of death that everyone brings up. But that thing still sold like crazy, even if you were going through 3 or 4 boxes. People were still buying it.
Yeah, Microsoft.
And I think they're doing what Sony did. They're getting good hardware. They got a great price. They got some great platforms, and they're investing in studios. Like Bethesda was a huge buy. Now they have 23 first-party studios that over the next couple of years, we're going to start seeing some hot jams get rolled out, like Starfield, the next Elder Scrolls. Those aren't going to be on PlayStation.
And which, by the way, haven't they already said that those are going to be console exclusive? Did they? Am I imagining that? Maybe
I don't think they've hard confirmed it.
A lot of people are saying they confirmed it, but from the stuff I'm saying, it's not. I would not say 100% confirmed.
Okay.
You don't spend $7.5 billion to have your exclusives go to other titles. They want people to get Game Pass. And how do you get Game Pass? You put Starfield, you put the next Elder Scrolls, and day one on Game Pass.
I'm going to be so interested to see how this catches. I don't know. I don't even know if we're going to see a big jump in the first year necessarily. I do think Game Pass is going to, like last gen when they both launched with, obviously Xbox One launched with the Kinect, and like that was part of the user interface was that thing. And the PS4 had it as an option, and even then I was like, one of two things is going to happen. Either this Kinect thing is going to take off and PS4 is going to adopt that and sell that and make their version of the Kinect, or the Kinect is going to just not entice gamers and they're going to rip it out and kind of have to re-identify what that thing is. And that's obviously what happened. I almost see it in reverse now where Game Pass is the thing for Xbox, and Sony, at least at this point, they have, they obviously are aware of it, and I think they're obviously trying to give gamers like some sort of value with the PlayStation Collection thing, but it's not Game Pass, obviously. I could see easily mid-gen or earlier where Game Pass is taking off and Sony has to pretty much completely pivot and somehow adapt that model. I'm going to be really interested. I don't think it's going to happen right away, but I don't know. It's so interesting that the industry is in transition big time, and Microsoft is.
Well, neither one's
trying to take it
chasing someone else's gimmick. Like the Kinect and the PSI, or what was it called? The Waggle-Wand. They were chasing the Wii. That was the reason they made those. It's like, let's chase someone else's gimmick. Now they have their own, and Sony's talking about fast speeds with their SSD and their memory bandwidth, and Xbox is out there saying we got a beefy console that has Game Pass. Like they're leveraging what they have. They're not leveraging what someone else has.
I do think I don't know. I think the acquisition says they at least know what Sony's been doing, because I think I still think exclusivity really, really matters at the end of the day. I really do.
Yeah.
So.
To circle back on that, it felt like Microsoft in like the early 2000s, where they're like, well, we're just going to beat our competition by buying them. That's how the Bethesda acquisition came across to me. Because, when they bought inXile and Double Fine, Mojang, Ninja Theory, like those are smallish studios with, some big games. But then Bethesda, that's a juggernaut. That's a whole publishing company, Like that's what, 8 big studios?
High profile too.
Oh.
Like they
It's had an impact. Like a friend of mine that doesn't play a ton of games, just kind of here and there, like was even texting me, is like, oh, maybe I need an Xbox instead of a PlayStation. I was planning on getting a PlayStation, but this changes things. So
that's what's great for $300.
Yeah,
you get an Xbox and Game Pass, and have access to 200 games.
Having the cheapest console is a big deal.
I agree with you.
Like you look back generations, and it's almost always the cheapest console that sells the most. Like PS4 comes out $100 cheaper. 360 is a lot cheaper than PS3. PS2 was cheaper than Xbox.
Dude. I totally agree with you. And it's funny because, like, with the Series X, I mean, the like the heavyweight match is the Series X and the PS5, but this whole time, like, the Series S is kind of being overlooked, and it could kind of like Trojan horse its way into being a bigger factor than people give it credit for, in a way.
It'll be the sleeper hit.
And again, I'll be interested. I don't know. I still have my doubts as to, like, why, especially right now, people would feel so enticed to spend $500 to play current gen games. All those things are going to sweeten the pot when I buy one, and I will eventually. I'm going to just be interested to see at a wider consumer market, but like Power never won a console war, and it was kind of an odd circumstance that it happened to be. I mean, PS4 had a very slight performance advantage, but it wasn't anything huge. They just happened. I agree with you. It's the price that sold the thing and the goodwill that they kind of had to roll into. And again, like Sonic Boom, you were just saying, the roles have reversed a little bit in terms of how they've handled the just the narrative and the corporate speak and the interface. And I don't know. Microsoft is definitely doing a lot right at the moment, but they need to be doing a lot right, to me, because they're climbing an uphill battle in many ways. So I don't know.
They have to be good guy. They have to be a good guy, Microsoft, because that's the only way they're going to win anyone over.
Let me ask you. By the way, how are we doing on time? We've been going for a minute. Or two.
We're about an hour and a half, so let's wrap it up here in a minute or two.
Okay. I had this whole thing about Nintendo, but I don't think we'll have time for that. But damn it, we're going to do it next week, because Nintendo is being lost in all this conversation, and they're massive.
You brought them up once tonight?
And best current gen game is Breath of the Wild. Anyway, so you guys agree with me on that. We'll just move on. What? Oh god, I just lost my train of thought. Where do you see these consoles a year from now? Series X and PS5, and I guess I'll throw Series S in there as well.
I would say we see them where we thought we would see them in January. Like mega blockbuster AAA titles, the the studios coming out with this is what we're working on. Like, we haven't seen a lot of games. We haven't seen a lot of gameplay, and that's, you can blame it on the Rona, but it's super unusual that we're a month out and we still are missing huge aspects of these machines. So I think a year from now, we're going to finally see like the bigger picture for a lot of this, especially Microsoft with their huge, studio acquisitions they made in the last year. So Sony, they're still going to be rolling out the God of Wars, the Horizons. Maybe they'll pick up another Metal Gear, Final Fantasy, the usual. I think they're going to just stay the course because it's working for them. So it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
What do you think, Greg? I mean, what's going to be different about this generation? If anything, like what's different now?
I think all these Microsoft acquisitions are really going to start paying off. You'll start to see within a year. It's like Compulsion Games, like their last game was a while ago. Just a lot of these have more than one team going. I think we're going to start seeing some really good stuff before too long.
It makes me wonder, like, when we'll actually see the first exclusive title from these acquisitions. They're definitely going to come.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder, like, how deep in development, even if Bethesda had been developing next gen, like, I mean, they have been developing Starfield. But it makes me wonder when we're going to see that. And, as we said, they haven't officially said exclusive. I don't see them sharing any of these IPs. No. Well, that's what I was going to ask you. Actually, this will be the last question. Is this good for gaming? Acquisitions? Because Sony is definitely, everybody's been saying it's been in kind of the, the narrative circuit with everybody. If Sony had done this, I have no doubt they would be very protective. They are always very protective of their IPs. Mm-hmm. Very protective. And it's, to me, they're like with any company, that's kind of how business works. You protect your brand cachet. It's about the value of your brand. And that's really big. I think that's a big reason why Sony doesn't have to do a lot to get a lot of credit for things, because they build a brand recognition, just like Nintendo. They get a lot of credit for sometimes not doing as much as you might think, but they build a loyalty and a trust factor. And in my opinion, you guys may disagree with me, they build a quality recognition that you buy a console at launch and you have a strong degree of expectation and belief that they're going to follow through on what they say they're going to do. And it's going to be a quality product by the end of the console cycle. Like Nintendo does that really well. Sony does that really well. But my question really is like, are acquisitions good for games? Sorry, I was circling back on myself. The Bethesda acquisition is different to me because Bethesda was not known as a second party or a, exclusive umbrella of games per se. There is cross-platform. They've always kind of been that. Well, maybe not always, but they have been that. So it's unique. It's very unique in that sense.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's not fair. I mean, this is America. Geez, it's money makes the world go round. This is how corporate life works. Yeah. It's about conglomerates and expansion. But is this good for gaming?
I'll put on my Xbox hat and say, well, if Sony and Nintendo do it, absolutely. But when Microsoft does it, no, it's evil and they're bad. Like, some of the Twitter outrage is just asinine.
It's bad.
People just losing their shit about, well, Fallout wasn't very good anyway. It's like, if it was the other way around, you guys would be singing the praises. But without first-party exclusives and purchases, you wouldn't have Spider-Man, because they could be working on Insomniac could be working on another Sunset Overdrive instead of Miles Morales. Like, it's just same with Horizon. Like, you wouldn't have another launch title. Like, it lends credence to the whole fact that when one company does exceedingly well, the other is pushed to do better. Like, Microsoft had their back to the wall for the last 7 years, and now we're starting to see the fruits of Phil Spencer's labor.
Oh yeah, There's
the war chest is open.
There's no doubt to that. Yeah. Honestly, I pretty much attribute a lot of PS4 directly to the 360. I mean, PS3 was shoehorning a lot of company technology and ideas that had nothing to do with gaming, jacked up the price. They had this crazy ass CPU, really difficult to develop, and they ate billions of dollars to try and claw their way. I mean, I give them a lot of credit because they were in it to win it, and they ate the billions, and eventually they got brought back a lot of goodwill. And as they were rolling into PS4, they were really, I think, humble about it, and they got a Western console architect in Mark Cerny and built it completely development angle first, and the PS4 was great to develop for, and it did great. And so I would definitely attribute the PS4 to them losing in so many ways with the PS3.
Yeah, thinking back on like around PS4 launch era, like that was a great Sony. Like they were like so personable and so humble and just so.
Miss Jack Trenton.
Yeah, and there's so many people that just slowly trickled out of there, and it lost something for sure. Like you don't even see Shuhei Yoshida anymore hardly. Like it's just like here's some Sony presentation with a disembodied voice, and then
Jim Ryan doesn't really connect the way those guys
Jim Ryan's gonna say something weird no matter what. It seems
he's Mr. European businessman. He's out there to make bucks. Not smiles.
They definitely feel like a different company than they did at PS4 launch to me.
Yeah, I can certainly see that. Angle. I think it's kind of hard to like get out of the bubble too, because again, the average consumer doesn't know any of these people, but it's the core. I mean, it's us that really carry the torch early, and like we evangelize the damn thing. We market for them, and I think that's why console launches can be really, really important. And that's why I really do like think about the trajectory of both of these consoles. They're doing some things that really make me think. I had a million other questions that we can get into at another podcast, but like, it just makes me, I wouldn't be shocked at all if PS5 outsold in the first year, and then traction gains with Game Pass, and then things change after that. I do believe strongly that a year from now, Sony is still going to have, like, I do think God of War is going to hit 2021. I do. As crazy as it sounds.
You're high, man. You are crazy. No.
I would be very
earliest.
I think it'll hit. I really do. I really think it'll hit. Mostly because I think they haven't said it yet, but I think it's going to be on PS4. They're using the PS4 engine. I think they're stopgapping a lot of PS5 projects with their big in-house studios using previous engines, as you see in Spider-Man. Notice also they're not calling it God of War 2. It's God of War Ragnarok. Yeah. I think it's going to be a rejiggered engine that's optimized for PS5. I think they'll hit. It wouldn't shock me if it's not a massive, massive game in scope, but I don't know. They're going to have Ratchet. They're going to have God of War, potentially. Gran Turismo 7. I think that game's going to come out Q1 or Q2. Those are really big in Europe. I'm just saying, I think the software will continue to accumulate for PS5. But I think that this value proposition that Microsoft keeps building up, it's got to freaking hit at some point. And especially when they keep making acquisitions, like it has to at some point. I don't care what anyone says. And again, maybe I'm old school in my thinking, but until you're out of the console space, you're competing with Sony. That's just how I see it. That doesn't mean that's the only place that they're like trying to get traction. And clearly they're expanding their market. They're trying to. But I could see a year from now, Sony has the software. The value proposition is going to add up, and I would not be shocked at all if a year from now Game Pass starts to catch, and then this whole conversation changes. And I don't know. We'll have to see.
Yeah, I'm not delusional. PS5 will outsell the Xbox.
Yeah, I think so too.
Like duh, but having a cheaper console in Game Pass it'll close that gap. It's not going to be 2 to 3 to 1 like it was this gen. It'll be within a couple million.
I really want a competitive really want to come. I mean, the console space is super. It's sold incredible this year. COVID obviously helped that happen, but like console space is so exciting right now. It's awesome, and I think Microsoft and Sony are about to like. I think they're about to swing real hard in this gen.
Yeah.
It's going to be so interesting. So interesting.
Never been a better time to be a gamer. Sure.
Well, this is turning into the Xbox podcast. So next episode
Nice,
we'll have to friggin' talk about some Nintendo. Sonic Boom. You want to like plug like where we're available now as a podcast or anything else you want to?
We are available as a podcast on all major platforms: iTunes, Google, Pandora,
TikTok. Just kidding.
TikTok, Spotify, Dig, Vine 2. Basically everywhere you want a podcast. And if not, we're trying. So yeah, we got the big ones up there.
What's your Twitter handle, my dude?
At the Pie Piper. Pie like you're eating pie.
He's the best follow on Twitter.
I try. I'm a troll, so don't take anything I say seriously.
Yeah. Oh God. But before, okay. God.
Oh man, wrap it up, baby.
Sorry, I have a tinfoil hat thing I want to talk about. But Greg, plug us your Twitters or anything else you want the people to know.
Yeah. I'm on Twitter at Jethrin, Jethrin.
The best follow on Twitter.
Oh, we actually heard you this week. Perfect.
Yeah.
Love my boys.
And Matt, where you at?
At the circle button. But I have a 10-second tinfoil hat theory. I have to get off my chest.
Oh man, that
All right,
music's coming up.
Oh God,
Get it out.
this is a
Here it
crappy way
comes.
to outro the thing. Okay, Metal Gear Solid. And again, tinfoil hat. Okay, Metal Gear Solid is an IP purchased by Sony from Konami. Sony is going to pull this thing in-house. The next Uncharted game is actually being made by Sony San Diego, which you may or may not know. They traditionally have been the longtime developer for the show. Great sports franchise.
Mm-hmm.
Which makes you wonder what Naughty Dog is doing. Is Metal Gear Solid.
Whoa.
What?
Think about
man.
it. Third person, espionage, narrative driven, aged gameplay. There you have it.
I mean,
It's Metal Gear Solid,
Xbox
baby.
bought Bethesda. Anything could go nowadays.
Metal
so
Gear Solid, baby. And here's another little seed, one little
we'll
tinfoil hat.
wrap it up, B.
Yoji Shinkawa, who is the highly respected concept artist for Metal Gear Solid, traditionally works with Kojima. Now with Kojima Productions, he did a piece of concept art for The Last of Us 2 this week. They're talking.
True.
They're talking,
True.
people. This is a
Wait, that was Joe and Ellie?
Blue controller and a Sega buyout. Okay.
I thought that was Meryl's
That I
kid.
agree with.
No, it's
Snake.
Joel, Ellie, and Abby
And Snake and
and Snake.
no, wait,
Yeah.
Olga. It was Olga, right?
Olga Gerlukovich,
Yeah,
Snake,
and Joel
and Joel
in a painting.
in a beautiful
Wait, what?
painting. Okay, I'll end it there. I'm sorry. I've talked way too much. All right, that is a wrap on episode 1 of the cross-platform chat. I can say it this week. Cross-platform chat. Get us on all those feeds that the Sonic Boom just spewed out. See you next week, boys and girls.
Smooches.
Bye.